Gold has played a key role in many cultures throughout human history, making it possible for people of distant lands to trade with each other on an even footing. But is there a dark side to this lustrous metal? Has gold been used as a tool to forward the agendas of history's more nefarious characters? Today we will explore that question in one of the most pivotal events in modern history, the Bolshevik Revolution. The story of the Russian Revolution is vast. The list of men and women who shaped the political environment in Russia for most of the 20th century could fill a book all on its own. In this video, we bring our focus to the two central figures of the movement and the men in the background who made their revolution possible, Vladimir Lenin and Leon Trotsky. Both of these men were dedicated revolutionaries, bent on transforming Russia. Both were highly intelligent and motivated. Both were exiled for their revolutionary activities, and both would later return to complete their overthrow of the Russian government. Another commonality between them was their close relationships with powerful bankers from across the Western nations. Each of these men was able to carry out their part in the revolution because they were given the resources to do so by a small group of the financial elite in Germany, England, and the United States. Vladimir Lenin was born Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov in April of 1870, and Leon Trotsky was born Lev Davidovich Bronstein in October of 1879. After the failed revolution of 1905, Lenin and Trotsky were exiled from Russia. Their paths would converge again in 1917 in a successful overthrow of the Russian government, ushering in the age of communism in Russia. One notable difference between these two revolutions is that the successful one was extraordinarily well funded. Tens of millions of dollars in gold and cash, as well as material support, were provided by Western bankers. Upon hearing of the abdication of Tsar Nicholas II on March 2, 1917, Lenin and Trotsky prepared to embark on separate journeys back to Russia. On March 27th, Trotsky and his entourage left New York aboard the SS Christiania. The trip was financed by Jacob Schiff, senior partner at the Wall Street bank, Kuhn, Loeb and Company. According to Professor Anthony Sutton, Trotsky was given $10,000 in gold and an American passport. Another future partner at Kuhn and Loeb was Sir William Weizmann, sent by British intelligence to help bring America into World War I. He played an important role in seeing Trotsky return to Russia. Trotsky was detained in Halifax on the orders of British Naval Attaché Captain Guy Gaunt for suspicion of being a German agent. Weizmann sent wires to London and eventually convinced them to release Trotsky. Gaunt would later accuse Weizmann of treason. On April 9th, Lenin boarded a bulletproof train bound for Russia with his own entourage and approximately $5 to $6 million worth of German gold provided to him by the German government and German banker Max Warburg. The transaction was facilitated by his brother Fritz Warburg in Stockholm. Meanwhile, their other brother, Felix Warburg, who married Jacob Schiff's daughter and was a partner at Kuhn and Loeb, handled the dispensing of funds to Schiff's charities. Decades later, in 1949, the newspaper New York Journal American would announce, quote, Today, it is estimated by Jacob's grandson, John Schiff, that the old man sank about $20 million for the final triumph of Bolshevism in Russia. General of the White Russians, Arsene Degulevich, corroborates this in his book Tsardom and the Revolution, which states that Jacob Schiff successfully financed Leon Trotsky with $20 million and, in return, received from Lenin's government $100 million in gold during the period of 1918 to 1922, paid directly to the firm Kuhn, Loeb and Company in New York. The gold had come full circle. The following is an excerpt from Degulevich. Quote, "The main purveyors of funds for the revolution, however, were neither the crackpot Russian millionaires nor the armed bandits of Lenin. The real money primarily came from certain British and American circles, which for a long time past had lent their support to the Russian revolutionary cause. The important part played by the wealthy American banker Jacob Schiff in the events in Russia, though as yet only partially revealed, is no longer a secret." General Alexander Nekvoladov is quoted by Degulevich as stating in his book on the Bolshevik Revolution, "In April 1917, Jacob Schiff publicly declared that it was thanks to his financial support that the revolution in Russia had succeeded. In spring of the same year, Schiff commenced to subsidize Trotsky. Simultaneously, Trotsky and Company were also being subsidized by Max Warburg and Olaf Ashberg of the Nya Banken of Stockholm, the Rhine-Westphalian Syndicate, and Zhivatovsky, whose daughter later married Trotsky. Olaf Ashberg's Nya Banken would later melt down the Russian gold and distribute it to London, Paris, and New York." According to Degulevich, Mr. Bakhmetiev, the late Russian imperial ambassador to the United States, tells us that the Bolsheviks, after victory, transferred 600 million rubles in gold between the years 1918 and 1922 to Kuhn, Loeb and Company. In the book Wall Street and the Russian Revolution, author Richard Spence identifies Zhivatovsky as being an alias for the man Abram Zhivatovsky, whose name appears in connection with Bolshevism in a 1918 report to the U.S. State Department, Bolshevism and Judaism. In the report, Sedova, daughter of the banker Zhivatovsky, married Trotsky, supposedly cementing an alliance between Jewish bankers and Jewish revolutionaries. The report names Jacob Schiff, Olaf Ashberg, and Max Warburg as funders of the Bolsheviks. According to Spence, Abram Zhivatovsky was Trotsky's maternal uncle, well connected to international business, a major figure in Russian banking, close to Trotsky throughout his career, and a central figure in funding Bolshevism and Soviet Russia. The web of financiers that made the Russian Revolution possible was a wide one. Stretching across Europe and the United States, it included the most wealthy and powerful men of the day, many of whom have not been mentioned here. From the Rothschild banks to J.P. Morgan, all of these power brokers made communism possible, and one of their most important tools was the original cryptocurrency, gold.